Hey there, White Sox fans. How's everybody holding up? It was way too quick an exit from the playoffs. I would like to do a much more in-depth look back at the playoffs. There were some good stuff too. I mean, come on, Gavin Sheets, way to step onto the main stage. Leury Garcia, longest home run he's ever hit, came in such a big pivotal moment. There were some positives to take away that aren't nothing. You know, I mean, we got to take the small victories at this point because, well, there weren't very many victories overall. I want to take some time and talk about a whole lot of different things, but I've been traveling like crazy lately, and I'm jumping on a plane tomorrow morning super early as well. So I just didn't want more time to go by without me taking a moment to chat with you. So rather than me just talk, I thought this would be a good time to ask some questions to you. Also, I did want to talk a little bit about the Picks to Click contest. You guys, so many of you participated all year long, and it was such a fun way to watch the season. There's going to be some videos coming out on that, and of course we're going to do, I'm guessing, a live unveiling of the top 10 finishers, probably in the middle of December, but there will be still some updates in the meantime as well, as we go back and catch up on some of those weeks of White Sox baseball and who picked who and all that kind of good stuff. But before heading into that, and again, I'm going to be revealing some prizes, not all of them, but some of them at the end of this video. First, I wanted to talk about what the White Sox are going to be up to this week, not that fast, but this offseason, and kind of get your opinion on what they should do, because I think the White Sox have more question marks this offseason than they did last offseason, which is weird because the White Sox core is in place really strongly. I guess one of those question marks, it comes from a good place because we didn't really expect much of anything from Carlos Rodon, but now the question is, what's next? He's technically a free agent by the time the World Series ends. As I'm recording this, it might be ending any second now. We didn't think we were going to get too much value from him. He ended up being an excellent, like a total Cy Young contender for most of the season. And then, of course, injuries popped up again. Not so much intense injuries, but maybe dead arm, just arm fatigue, because he's never thrown this many innings in his life, in his professional life at all. What happens next? So the options are, the White Sox try to work out a brand new deal with him, just flat out like that, or they can go with a qualifying offer. Now that, if you don't know, if you're not aware, that would be an offer that is an average of the top 125 highest paid players in baseball, which comes out to about $18 million. And that would be a one-year contract offer. At that point, Rodon would have the ability to say, sounds good to me. I've never made that much money before. I'm in. And then the Sox would be on the hook for paying $18 million for that 1 year of his services. The other option for Carlos, though, would be to say, hey, I have never looked this good in my life. I'm going to try to leverage that and get a multi-year deal from somebody else. Might not be as much average annual value, but it'll be a much bigger overall amount. And if that happens, then the White Sox get some draft pick compensation. So I guess the question here is, what should the White Sox do? Should they extend a qualifying offer to Carlos? And is question 1B, should Carlos take it if the White Sox offer that? I have tons of opinions and tons of ideas, and I think they're going to change every couple of days, but I'm just going to shut up right now and let you guys decide, and maybe we'll make this something of a poll in the future when I can go through all of the answers. So a huge question mark right now is Craig Kimbrell. The White Sox technically have an option on Craig Kimbrell for about $16 million for next year. And when the White Sox traded for him, that looked like an easy yes. That this guy was, at that time, the best reliever in all of Major League Baseball. So extending him, or just picking up that option, I should say, for $16 million looked like an easy decision. He did not do great with the White Sox, but at the same time, when he started out with the Cubs, he did not do great with them either. He looked like he was past his prime, and then suddenly he settled in, got comfortable, and everything was great. So the White Sox have a few options here. One is that they can buy out his $16 million club option for just $1 million based on what I see on Baseball Prospectus, COTS baseball contracts. So $1 million, give it to him, he walks away, frees up another $15 million in payroll space. The other option, which we have heard that the White Sox are considering, is to sign him and then look for a trade. Even with a poor showing with the White Sox, he is not a terrible pitcher. He still does have value, maybe not $16 million worth of value, but absolutely somebody would give up something for him. So maybe the White Sox could at least get some sort of a prospect, a bad contract swap. I know some people have thought about maybe David Price can come to the White Sox from the Dodgers because he's an overpaid veteran as well. You could also hold on to him for a while, maybe trade him during spring training or early on in the season. Don't forget, at the beginning of this year, Kirby Yates was set to be the closer for Toronto, and he was lost to the season with an arm injury. The Blue Jays probably would have paid a lot in prospect value to trade for somebody like Craig Kimbrell in that moment. Do the White Sox hope that something like that comes up? Or will the White Sox just say, hey, we'll tough it out? He righted the ship on the north side. We believe he'll do the same thing on the south side and provide a lot of value to us. So the options are stick with him, sign him and look for a trade partner, or just cut him loose. Now again, cutting him loose would sting even more because of what the White Sox gave up to get him. Nick Madrigal is no longer on the team because the White Sox traded for Craig Kimbrell. Now you shouldn't be stubborn and make bad decisions because of one bad thing that didn't go right. I think it would be very hard for Rick Hahn to just let him walk away knowing that he gave up a really high-end prospect in Nick Madrigal to get just kind of 2 mediocre months out of Craig Kimbrell. Now the final question I will ask involves 2 of our position players, our kind of utility depth pieces, and one of them is a free agent now, and the other is in arbitration. And the question is basically, do we go after them? Do we keep them on the team? Do we let them walk? And those 2 players are Leury Garcia. He just wrapped up a 2-year extension that the White Sox gave him. He made, I believe it was $3.5 million last year and played all over the field. You know, he's not a star. He's not a game changer, really. But man alive, it's so valuable having somebody that can play just about every position on the field. I think he is going to be in high demand. Not that he's going to be getting $10 million per year contract offers, but he will be scouted, I think, by a lot of people because versatility goes a long way in the major league. So when it comes to the question on Garcia, do you want to keep him and at what price tag? Because obviously if he's coming back for $1 million, nobody's going to argue with that. That's a great investment, but would you bring him back for $7, $8 million a year over 3 years? I probably wouldn't go that high. I wasn't supposed to opine at all. I wasn't supposed to give any opinions. But anyway, what would your deal be for Garcia if you do want him to come back? Another outfielder that didn't get a lot of playing time, mostly due to injury this year, is Adam Engel. Now we know his defense is superb. He's outstanding, and it's so unfortunate that he missed so much time this year because his bat has really been coming around. Of course, we didn't get to see too much of it in 2020 because of the COVID-shortened year, and then so many injuries this year to him. But his power stroke was finally coming in to pair with that great speed. That said, we don't really know what's going to come from all of these injuries he dealt with this year. Right now, MLBTradeRumors.com is predicting that he would get about $2.2 million via arbitration. And again, with Adam Engel, it's not so much the dollar amount, because $2.2 million on a major league team, not a big deal. But is he worth the roster spot? The White Sox might be looking to make some other upgrades out there. We have so much more to talk about this offseason. This offseason, we're going to do a lot of the videos that we did last year as well. We're going to try to figure out how much the White Sox have to spend, kind of predict their budget. We're going to do some deep dives on certain players. It's going to be fun. I really love doing this, and I'm so excited that I'm going to be settled. I'll be back home. I'll be around for a while, snowed in like everybody else, and be able to really dedicate a lot of time to this because I've had so much fun doing it. And a big part of that was, of course, the Picks to Click contest. So without giving away every prize, now the one that everybody knows about if you've been listening and watching is if you are a top 10 finisher, boom, you'll get your name on the board in the back. You will be represented. You'll have bragging rights, not only all season, but all off season as well, starting in December, whenever it is the announcement comes out. So your names will be written in stone. The top 7 finishers will be interviewed right here on this channel. It'll be recorded, not live. That way we can edit if you've got nothing to worry about if you're nervous about being on camera. But I love to create a community feeling. We have been interacting with each other in the comments. You guys have been chatting amongst yourselves a lot, which is fun. I want to bring some faces to those names. You don't have to if you don't want to. If you are too camera shy, you don't want to go on camera, that's totally fine. But we would love to see you. Especially, we got to celebrate you top 10 finishers, or in this case, the top 7 finishers. Top 6 finishers will get a copy of my book, which has almost nothing to do with baseball. I'm sure there's some White Sox moments in here, even though this is a ghost story, a Chicago ghost story book. And if you don't like ghost stories, well, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, but it's something I wrote. I'm very proud of it, and it's a Chicago book. So it's always good to know more about the city, the great, awesome city that we live in. Again, there's more prizes that I'm not revealing yet, but I will show off something awesome that the top 2 finishers get. If you've been watching White Sox baseball in the last 2 years, and obviously you have if you're watching this, especially at this point in this video, there is a previously unheralded offensive monster in the history of White Sox baseball. A guy that is a trivia answer to just about every question. We didn't know about him until 2020 when somehow he kept popping up. But you guys, the top 2 finishers, will actually get signed baseball cards from the one and only Zeke Benora. For real. Actually, he's passed away, so he's not signing more autographs. These are original cards. He played in the 30s, 30s maybe into 40s, but yeah, 30s into 40s. But these cards were printed in the 1970s, and he did autograph signings for them. So very, very cool. The top 2 finishers get their own Zeke Benora autographs. You can't find that just anywhere. So anyway, thanks for sticking around all year. Thanks for your patience and the fact that I haven't been able to do one of these videos during the playoffs. But I definitely want to hear your opinions, and then we will continue the dialogue all winter long. Looking forward and counting down the days till we can say, play ball and go Sox.